The Pac-12 lives on. They are resurrected from the depths of being the Pac-2. Let's talk about it here on the Deep Digger Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We're talking college football here all season. So the Pac-12 is kind of special to me. Growing up in California, was big into Cal, big into like Stanford, especially in the Bay. Um, Pac-12 after dark, all about it. So when the Pac-12 kind of disbanded, especially when a lot of the schools were starting to be very competitive in the national sphere, uh, I was kind of like, damn, we could have had something special here, especially for West Coast people. And now you're seeing it with these schools that left. I think they're 21-3 this season, 3-0 versus the SEC. It was kind of weird that Washington State and Oregon State didn't just jump ship, also join a Big Ten, join a Mountain West, join a MAC, something to kind of stay relevant within the rest of the nation. They held their ground. I mean, we can't give them too much credit because this was also the work of the Pac-12 committee, kind of botching TV deals, botching contracts, and that's kind of the reason why they disbanded. But now they held their ground. They got 6 teams in this conference now. They are joined. It's going to be Washington State, Oregon State, Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, and San Diego State coming from the Mountain West. And the way this deal kind of happened is kind of the same way that Big Ten kind of absorbed most of the Pac-12. There was a scheduling agreement. The Mountain West agreed, okay, you Pac-2, we'll work with you on scheduling, make sure that you guys are still kind of getting your games in. But then when the Big Ten did it to Pac-12, they just absorbed the teams. And that's kind of what is happening here. Pac-12 saying, hey, guys, you're bigger than the Mountain West. Pac-12 could be a better brand. You could get in on a new TV deal with us, and you could kind of separate from the Pac where you come in here, you're the new guy on the block. If you win games, you could be the leader of the Pac-12 now. And I think there's been certain years where a team like Boise State has been bigger than the Mountain West, but it's hard to get the recognition in a conference like the Mountain West nationally. And I think the Pac-12 carries a little bit more weight. And yeah, it's not the same teams. It's not USC. It's not Oregon. But teams that can kind of make some noise here, Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State just looked pretty good against Michigan for most of the game. So I like the move for them. Now the question is, they need 2 more teams. They need to make it an 8-team conference to stay an FBS conference. The question is, who do we add? I think UNLV has to be on the list. I think Nevada could be considered. Utah State, definitely. Apparently, they generate a lot of revenue through basketball that could be helpful towards the Pac-12. They're talking about some Texas teams, North Texas and UTSA specifically. I've read that possibly like a USF in Florida, even though I think they should keep this mostly West Coast teams, because something with the Pac-12, it's the travel. Like, what's going on with the former Pac-12 teams here this season who went into these other conferences, the travel is difficult. They have to go across the country. They have to do a lot more planning. With the Pac-12 before in the past, you could take a bus and go through the whole Pac-12, basically, for the most part. So I'd love for them to keep this new Pac-12 era in the West Coast as much as possible, and maybe even get up to 10 teams at this point, because now the Mountain West, whoever's left in it, is starting to look over. There's only 8 teams left in the Mountain West now. They're starting to look over like, maybe we should go over there. It's a good opportunity. Now that some of these good teams in the Mountain West are leaving, does the Mountain West turn into the new Pac-2 where teams just kind of disband and move on? And the way that Mountain West can kind of survive is getting absorbed through the Pac-12. One of the things that was crucial part of this deal, in order for the Pac-12 to get these teams out of the Mountain West, they have to pay exit fees. The Pac-12 has to pay over $100 million to get these teams out of there. And yeah, in excess of $100 million in exit fees and penalties in associated with the scheduling agreement that Oregon State and Washington signed with the Mountain West last year. And that's, again, that agreement we talked about that they had with the Mountain West to keep Washington and Oregon State a full schedule. So a hefty fee, but I think what they're thinking is, okay, now Pac-12, we have actually some teams with some diehard fan bases. Listen, we're rejuvenating this brand. We got teams now. We got teams wanting to come to us, stealing some better schools to come over here, and they want not just enough teams to field the conference, but they want the best in the West Coast that they could possibly get. And it's looking pretty good right now. So I think they're banking on, let's get a TV deal in place. The thing that kind of screwed us over in the past, let's get a good TV deal and really make up for that $100 million that we're paying. And I think they could do it. I mean, realistically, the West Coast loves Pac-12 football, and especially with it being brand new back, they could get a good initial deal. And then they have to be competitive. They have to win and field good football in order for, to sustain it. Really quickly, to talk about teams possibly joining back into the Pac-12, it's not really in the discussion right now because teams like Stanford, teams like Cal, they signed like very strict contracts with their new conferences that they can't really get out of right now. So teams like that joining back in really isn't out of the question. It really is out of the question, at least for a few years. So we're going to have to see what teams ultimately join, at least two. I'm thinking they do 4. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments what team you think is joining up, who you want to see in the Pac-12 this year, this coming next year. I'm just hyped. I think it's a great move. I think Pac-12 football is back. It's here to stay. It actually never left. And yeah, let me know in the comments how you feel. I just want to talk about it real quick. And we'll keep on updating you here on any news on what teams join up after this because they're not done. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. See ya.